Hello and welcome to the New York Farm Bureau's weekly news bite, bringing you the latest news from the New York State agriculture world.
Hi, I'm Steve Ammerman, Director of Communications for New York Farm Bureau. New York Farm Bureau News Bites continues to look at the needs facing agriculture right now and ways our farms and agribusinesses can position themselves to best meet the challenges and capitalize on opportunities that lie ahead in the future. That was the focus of New York Farm Bureau's recent Future of Agriculture Summit. Labor has been a major issue for New York farmers for a long time, both finding employees as well as the rising cost of labor. We had a panel discussion at the summit moderated by Richard Stup, Cornell's agricultural workforce specialist. He was joined by Jim Bittner, the executive director of the New York State Horticulture Society and owner of Bittner Singer Orchards, A.J. Wormuth, NYFB board member and owner of Half Full Dairy, Chris White, the New York State Department of Labor Deputy Commissioner of Workforce Development, and Scott Potter, the plant manager for Cayuga Milk Ingredients. The four talked about the challenges that they face, including the cost of labor, recruitment and retention techniques, and obstacles employees have, like the high cost of daycare, for instance. The panel stressed it's a challenge to maintain competitiveness with other states' cheaper labor costs and lower regulatory requirements, which is what Bittner says keeps him up at night. There's also the focus on what young people are looking for today in a career in agriculture. So following the panel, we sat down with Richard Stup to get his take on what he heard and the opportunities that exist.
Well, I thought we had a really great panel, and the group really shared some great insights. So, we spanned state government perspective, and then we had two producers, and then we had the processor represented on that panel as well. And so it gave us multiple insights into the overall food industry, not just farms. But more specifically, Chris White started us off by sharing some of the exciting things that the state is getting involved with and some creative programs, I think, to help us overcome some of the disconnects between young people today and the overall population, and then what's happening in terms of careers in agriculture, helping to get some more exposure to that. And I think that Chris was very open and willing and excited about hearing input from the various parts of agriculture about that. Jim shared some of the challenges that the fruit and vegetable industry has in terms of seasonal workers and the H-2A program. Costs are going up, but he also shared some real positive things about how they're training workers and exposing them to outside organizations so they really feel a part of agriculture. And then AJ shared some exciting things in his business about how they're looking strategically and trying to diversify, but also shared some real concerns about the cost of labor in New York and how that puts them in a competitively uncomfortable position against some other states that maybe don't have some of the higher cost drivers like minimum wage and overtime that producers in New York now have. And then we wrapped it up with Scott's comments about the processing industry. And Scott made a real clear point that a lot of the issues we see on farms are very similar in processing. And I think we all, got the message that processing is very important to farms and to agriculture overall, because we need the whole chain in order to get that food from the farm to the consumer. And so workforce issues are having a big impact throughout. I think the panel really summarized those well and got us focused on the key issues.
There are many opportunities to be had in agriculture. One thing is getting more people to think broader about what the job might entail. Once again, here's Richard Stup.
We've got some good jobs there, especially the higher skilled jobs, which, compensation is really quite good and really career-oriented types of jobs. Technology is another one. Agriculture has a lot of technology coming into it. It's not the same old jobs that it might have been a couple generations ago. There's a lot of technology involved and a lot of creativity that are involved in a lot of farming industry jobs. Career paths are increasing. So that was one of the challenges with the farm jobs in the past, is that, it was mostly family farms, and still families are predominantly the major part of the industry, but there's a lot of other people that aren't necessarily family members in a lot of these jobs, both in production and in processing. And so there's opportunities for others to come into those businesses and advance their careers in different types of jobs and a variety of different things within the industry. So yeah, a lot of positives going on that way. And we just need to get the word out more about our industry and about how the quality of those jobs and how many people, you don't have to grow up on a farm to pursue a great career in agriculture today. I think if we can capitalize on that, so people across the board, it seems, are interested increasingly in where does their food come from and how was it produced? And if we can capitalize on that interest, not view it as a threat, but view it as a positive, saying it comes from here and this is how we do it. And why don't you come be part of our industry and help to produce that food that is, very much a food security issue. It's very much a food quality issue and getting good locally produced foods and that sort of thing. It's also very much an opportunity to have a great career and to contribute to a local community right here in New York.
Thanks, Rich, for the conversation. One thing that we have to look forward to in the future is the next Farm Bill. The federal legislation that combines both agriculture and nutrition policy will be up for debate in Congress next year. Right now in New York, a series of Farm Bill listening sessions are happening for farmers to give their input on ideas that they have about changes or things they would like to see added to the new Farm Bill. New York Farm Bureau's National Affairs Director Lauren Williams is a part of this effort and will be advocating for our members in the next Farm Bill. Here's Lauren.
Thanks, Steve. As Congress begins to draft the 2023 Farm Bill, the statewide Farm Bill listening sessions provide an opportunity for farmers to give feedback to state and federal officials on what Farm Bill programs are important to them. The Farm Bill is the primary funding mechanisms for many of the essential programs that farmers depend on, as well as providing important nutrition assistance that assist individuals with food purchases. New York Farm Bureau has some general priorities already established, and these have been echoed by farmers at the listening sessions. First, it's critical to protect the Farm Bill baseline spending that is currently in place. With so many needs facing agriculture, farmers cannot afford to see program cuts. The risk management tools that farmers depend on, including federal crop insurance and commodity programs, are also top funding priorities. The Dairy Margin Coverage Program, as well as the Specialty Crop Block Grant and agricultural research and education, are important for New York farmers. We also believe that the Farm Bill should remain unified with farm and nutrition policies. These two pieces help bridge the rural and urban gap to help secure support from a large number of lawmakers. We encourage farmers to attend the listening sessions to help prioritize the needs of our diverse agricultural community. The discussions won't end at the listening sessions, and farmers can submit further comments to farmbill@agriculture.ny.gov. In addition, we encourage members to be thinking of how Farm Bill programs could be improved and work through the policy development process. New York Farm Bureau will continue working on behalf of farmers to ensure that the New York congressional delegation knows the importance of Farm Bill programs. Now back to Steve.
Thanks, Lauren. And thank you for listening to this week's New York Farm Bureau's News Bites. Until next week, make sure to thank a farmer for all that they do.